Before Rome existed, before Greece rose to power, and long before modern history began, there was already a city in Mesopotamia shaping civilization in ways we still don't fully understand. A city so advanced it controlled law, astronomy, engineering, and even the measurement of time itself. But what if everything you were taught about it was only half the truth, or completely wrong? Long before Rome became an empire, Babylon was already ancient and deeply established. It had existed for over 1,000 years, long before classical civilizations took shape. Historians place its origins deep in early Mesopotamian development along the Euphrates River. It was already powerful while much of the ancient world was still forming. Babylon did not appear suddenly or by accident in history. It developed gradually from earlier Sumerian and Akkadian civilizations over centuries. Each generation built upon the knowledge, architecture, and systems of the last. This slow evolution turned it into one of the most advanced cities of its time. The city of Babylon was surrounded by massive defensive walls of unbelievable scale. Ancient sources describe them as so wide that chariots could race along the top. These walls were not just barriers, but engineered military structures with layered defenses. For centuries, they made Babylon appear completely unassailable to outside forces. Inside those enormous walls lived a population that may have exceeded 100,000 people. The city was filled with homes, markets, workshops, temples, and administrative centers. Life inside was highly organized, with roads, canals, and carefully planned districts. Babylon was not just a fortress, it was a fully functioning ancient metropolis. The Ishtar Gate stood as the most iconic entrance to ancient Babylon. Its surface was covered in deep blue glazed bricks that shimmered under sunlight. Golden reliefs of dragons and bulls represented powerful protective deities. Anyone entering the city passed through a structure designed to overwhelm the senses. Beyond the Ishtar Gate stretched a long ceremonial road through the city. Its walls were decorated with rows of lions, symbolizing the goddess Ishtar. This road was used during major religious festivals and royal processions. Every step along it reinforced the divine authority of Babylon's rulers. At the heart of Babylon rose the massive ziggurat, known as Etemenanke. It was a step tower that climbed high above the flat Mesopotamian landscape. Ancient people believed it connected the heavens with the earthly world below. It stood as both a religious monument and a symbol of absolute power. Much of what people believe about Babylon comes from external accounts. Biblical writers often portrayed it as a symbol of arrogance and corruption. Greek historians described it through distance, imagination, and cultural bias. As a result, the real Babylon was often replaced by legend and myth. Unlike outsiders, the Babylonians left behind their own written documentation. Tens of thousands of clay tablets have survived across thousands of years. They contain records of trade, law, astronomy, agriculture, and daily administration. These documents reveal a society far more complex than ancient stereotypes suggest. Babylonian civilization was built on a strict system of written law. Every transaction, contract, and agreement had to be formally recorded. This included business deals, property ownership, and even family arrangements. The result was one of the earliest highly regulated legal societies in history. Nebuchadnezzar II was the most powerful ruler in Babylon's long history. He transformed the city through massive building projects and military expansion. Under his rule, Babylon became the dominant power of the ancient Near East. His reign marked what many consider the golden age of the empire. Babylon under Nebuchadnezzar extended its influence far beyond Mesopotamia. Entire kingdoms were conquered or brought under its control. One of the most famous events was the conquest of Jerusalem. These campaigns reshaped the political structure of the ancient world. At a certain point in Babylon's history, official records suddenly become incomplete. Royal inscriptions stop appearing for unexplained periods of time. Even the king's presence seems to fade from documented history. This silence remains one of the great historical mysteries of the empire. Ancient writers described the famous Hanging Gardens of Babylon in great detail. They spoke of elevated terraces filled with trees, vines, and flowing water. However, no Babylonian records ever mention such a structure existing. Its true location, and even its reality, remains heavily debated today. Outside the palaces and temples, daily life in Babylon was highly active. Merchants traded goods, craftsmen built products, and scribes recorded transactions. Canals and roads connected neighborhoods into a highly structured urban system. It was a city driven by constant economic and social activity. Women in Babylon held legal and economic rights uncommon in ancient societies. They could own property, conduct business, and sign legally binding contracts. They were also able to participate in court cases and inheritance systems. This level of independence was advanced compared to many later civilizations. Babylonian scholars were among the first professional astronomers in history. They tracked planetary movements and recorded celestial events over centuries. Their observations were used to identify repeating patterns in the sky. This transformed astronomy into a mathematical and predictive science. From their mathematical systems came revolutionary ideas about measurement. They created the base 60 system that still influences time today. This is why an hour has 60 minutes and a circle has 360 degrees. Their scientific legacy continues to shape modern life without us realizing it. By 539 BC, Babylon faced one of the greatest empires in history. Cyrus the Great led the rapidly expanding Persian forces toward the city. Babylon prepared for conflict, relying on its massive defenses and reputation. But the balance of power in the ancient world was shifting. Babylon slowly faded from political power after its fall. Over time, its structures collapsed and were buried under desert sands. Yet its ideas survived through mathematics, law, and astronomy. In many ways, Babylon never truly disappeared. It became part of civilization itself. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this video, please subscribe for more.